Hello guys, Sue Jerry speaking. Welcome to LJPCBM, episode number 812. And today I'll be acting to Purple Roads Podcast, episode number 76. Al Simmons, the children's performer. Now, before I react to this, I did want to apologize for the way I did react to Purple Roads Podcast on this whole thing. Mostly because I was very busy doing reaction videos to the 25K BRTV and other things. So yeah, didn't know what to expect next, but I just got back from it anyway after I reacted to episode 2075 of Purple Roads Podcast, Matt Vogel, 7 months ago. So anyway, I'm going to react to this beginning in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
I'm Carrie Stinson,
Wow.
and my journey through life has been quite an adventure. For over 20 years, I played Barney the Dinosaur on tour and 7 seasons of the hugely popular TV show Barney and Friends. Now my journey is to bring together friends and guests from all over the entertainment world for inspiring and at times amusing behind-the-scenes conversation. I'm Carrie Stinson, and this is Purple Roads.
Okay, somehow change the timeline, okay.
Welcome to Purple Roads. My name is Carrie Stinson,
and glad to have me back reacting to Purple Roads Podcast. Continue on.
So much fun this week. This is such.
Okay, we can't hardly hear you on this whole. We have such a good fun this week. Thing. Continue on.
I am thrilled to have Al Simmons, an entertainer, and we're going to get into this because music and books and props and entertains kids and families and adults. So this is going to be so much fun. Al, how are you?
And be watchers, Jason. I saw your cameo saying, let's say, I'm taking a break from dancing right now, guys. Hang in there. Yeah, I feel your pain, Jason. Be watching this. Continue on.
I'm great. Good to see you. This is fantastic. I'm thrilled to be on your program.
Well, I'm thrilled to have you here. You're up in Canada.
Wow.
And I know things are a little bit different up there.
Yeah.
We're a little more open here in the States with COVID and the pandemic. Are you all starting to get back out again?
Which, by the way, it's now going to be the endemic coming out. As I'm taping this episode, we'll just react right now. Continue on.
Yeah, I actually have some shows booked in August, so it looks like things
Wow.
are opening up. But
Wow. That was last year, by the way. Continue on.
Like if regulations change, they can be canceled at the last minute. So we're still up in the air. I'm double vaxxed now, so
Wow.
yeah, I'm not getting older. I'm getting Pfizer.
Okay.
But yeah, so things are opening up. But just like everywhere in North America, it's hot here.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
It is.
We're
So hotter than normal?
we're breaking all kinds of records. Yep.
Wow. Did you do some of the what they're calling
Let me turn up this TV volume.
shows?
I did.
Oh, I can't
did
hear
one,
Carrie. Hang on.
Drive-in. Wow. Did you do some of the what they're calling drive-in shows?
I did. I did one a couple of weeks ago, and I never, of course, never did anything like that before. But it was interesting. People were in their cars, and the rule was you could get out of your car to dance or interact, but you had to always be touching the car with one hand. You had to be that close to the car. So it was funny, you can't control 5-year-old kids. Like how?
Wow.
Make sure you dance and always touch the car. That's what. But that was what it was, and it was interesting. I'd sing a song with a funny line in the middle of the song, and
Her glitch is from Al Simmons Zen. Continue on.
the cars would toot their horn like a laughter, but just a little.
Wow.
Like I'd say the funny thing, they go punk, 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 like a little. Don't want to interrupt
Wow.
the flow. It was very cool. And then instead of applause, there was honking horns. And I said, let's try instead of laughter, try do your windshield wipers. But that
Okay.
was a dismal failure.
Wow.
They were squirting other cars. I just said, stop that. But you know, there was a couple of really neat things that happened. I sing a variation of head and shoulders, knees and toes, and a car,
Wow.
one guy, one car anyway, I don't know who it was, would honk.
Yeah, by the way, head, shoulders, knees, toes. It's a very catchy song. Continue on.
Perfectly. Head and shoulders, knees and toes, honk, knees and toes, honk, knees and toes. It was right in rhythm. I said, congratulations. And then the other cars, I said, don't join in because don't anybody else do that because that person had perfect rhythm. So I said, let's try this. So I split the group in half and I said, this half go honk and these go two honks. Honk, 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 honk,
Wow.
honk, 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 honk.
Wow.
So that worked for a while too. That was fun. But other than that, it was so hot and windy and not intimate. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. But isn't it wonderful? You developed and found a way to have so much fun and bring them all together.
Yeah.
In these crazy times.
Yeah, he just mentioned Crazy Bunch. Something like that. I don't know. Continue on.
It was unbelievable to actually do a show after a year and a half. It was just, it didn't matter they were in cars. I need people watching me, cheering for me. Good for you, Al Simmons. We love you, Al Simmons.
Wow.
Otherwise, what's the point? I'm just
Wow.
compost out other than that.
Well, I know that's been tough for entertainers. That trying to do Zoom and Facebook videos, you just don't have the interaction.
Yeah. And a lot of my stuff like that head and shoulders thing, I have variations that I do on it. And I really need to see the kids do it, and they need to do it. Like I've got teeth and cheeks and chinny chin chin, chinny chin chin,
Wow.
chinny chin chin,
Wow.
teeth and cheeks and chinny chin chin, earlobes, armpits, belly button.
Oh, wow. Does that make sense to you? I don't know. Continue on.
A kid yelled out, you can't say belly button on stage. It's like it's a swear word or something. So I asked for a vote. I said, anybody that doesn't think I should be allowed to say belly button on stage, honk your horn. And that kid he was outside, he ran around
Wow.
in the car and honked the horn.
Well, performing for kids, I've done it for such a long time. It's one of my favorite things because you never know what they're going to say or what they're going to do. They're so creative.
And they're so honest. Like they like something, they don't like. You can tell right away that I put stuff in, even in a kid for the adults, and I say that song Head and Shoulders is a good song for a greeting in these days where you can't shake hands or give hugs. You touch feet or whatever, but if people come up to me, I'm now 73 years old, and when people come up and say, "Hi, Al Simmons, how are you doing?" I can do that song. I can say, Bunyan, essential trimmer, losing my hair, losing my hair,
Wow.
losing my hair. Bunyan, essential tremor, losing my hair, pacemaker, medial meniscus tear. That's my knee.
Wow. Does that make any sense to you? Again, we'll see what happens. Continue on.
You got me laughing already. I knew this was going to be so much fun. That's obviously got to be a huge part of your act and part of why people love you so much. Is this sense of humor.
That's nice of you to say that. People love me.
Wow.
Well, you've been doing this a long time, and you've won awards, and you've been successful. So there's a reason why you've been around so long doing this.
I'm like 53 years, yeah. And
53. Wow, okay. Well, I seen some of your work in Sesame Street bits and pieces. I've never seen you in some of your work as of yet. But I'll get a chance to see some of your work in a later time, Al Simmons. Continue on.
Actually started, I started in a rock and roll band. I didn't know how to get into show business. I had no concept of how to begin.
Wow.
I just knew I wanted to be. I would go to the movies and watch Abbott and Costello and Laurel and Hardy, and Stan Laurel is a huge influence on me, and I just loved those guys. And so that, if anything, I would be the goofy sidekick in a cowboy movie. That would be my dream. But there was no outlet. But in Winnipeg, in the bars, they had a band in every bar during the 70s. In the 60s and 70s, they had a band in every bar. And you could go in and have a draft beer for 25 cents and watch a quality band, like anything from heavy rock and roll music,
which I'm into, by the way, heavy metal, classic rock. Continue on.
To an Al Jolson imitator.
Wow.
There was a guy doing blackface Al Jolson style. I'd give 1,000,000 miles for one of your smiles, you know.
Okay.
And he'd be down in blackface. It's like, holy. And a ventriloquist with his dummy.
Yeah, which is Jim Henson Muppets. Okay. I was inspiration with Fred Rogers and, of course, Jim Henson. Well, the next steps I have was Jim and Robin and, of course, Danebo and these two other people, Bob Shaw and Fox. Bob's a great inspiration to Jim Henson, you know, and he's a great guy at least. Continue on.
All like such a variety. So I put an ad in the paper and said, singer looking for a band, and I formed this rock and roll band, and the keyboard player said, you're crazy, we should call the band Out to Lunch. So
wow, okay. That one, yeah, let's see what Out to Lunch is. Let me see. Out to Lunch. So, let me see. Out to Lunch, Wikipedia, 1964 album. No, it's not a jazz band. It's just I'm looking for a, oh, I see. It's a television program. It was Al. I'm looking for Al Simmons. He's not on there. Never mind. Okay, never mind. Continue on.
But the first show that we did was in the heaviest rock and roll venue in Winnipeg, and we were the last-minute replacement for one of the top rock bands in the city, and they hated us. They hated me in particular. I've got some of the requests that I can't say on the air. It's worse than belly button.
Okay. Wow.
Allison, you're a belly button. Go back where you belong. Anyway, they hated us. That was my premiere. They just hated us. But the next week we were booked in a small town in Manitoba, and I went on the Monday and brought a box of hats. My dad was a hat collector, and I bought a box of hats, cowboy hats, sailor hats, all kinds of hats. And every time I sang a song, I put on the appropriate hat and acted out the lyrics to the song. And if you're acting out the lyrics to silly rock and roll songs, they become funny all of a sudden because the lyrics are ludicrous.
Right.
So all of it within, like my learning curve was Zoom. They just loved the band. We were crazy. We were fun.
Wow.
So what? You have such a rough start coming into it. Didn't affect you, didn't bother you at all, just made you try to figure out how to win an audience? Is that kind of
Well,
what
the hardest part of it was that my mom and my sister were in the audience, and my brother-in-law were in the audience when...
No, and we're 11 minutes in for the 58-minute mark. Excuse me. Continue on.
There's a neighbor of ours, like just a couple of doors down, that was yelling the worst insults at me. So it was
Wow.
embarrassing for the whole family. But you know, I've come to the philosophy that in in my occupation, and no matter what I do, there's three things. Either I'm going to learn something, I'm going to earn some money, or I'm going to have fun. And
Okay.
if whatever I'm doing, if it meets two of those things, I say yes. So if people call me and say, "Will you do this job?" We don't have any money, and they tell me about it, I'll say yes, because it meets
Mm.
two of them. So
Wow.
anyway, that first one, without knowing that philosophy, that first one met one of them. I'm going to learn something, and we didn't earn much money, and I certainly wouldn't say I had fun. The
Mm.
keyboard player said, "We've got to learn 27 songs to get through an evening."
Wow.
That was, I guess, what he's figuring is 9 songs per 40-minute set.
Mhm.
But they hated us so much that I ended the songs quicker than I should have. And we ended up, the last set was, I would say, "We did this song earlier, but we had a request to do it again. We didn't have enough tune." So I guess I did learn something there big time.
So
But the
what
hats,
developed?
the,
Yes.
Oh.
oh, I shouldn't interrupt. Yeah, you keep
No,
going.
no, I want to hear. No, no, no. Please, please go with
Okay,
it.
well, you can't, you better interrupt me every now and then. I just won't speak.
Wow.
they, the hats continued on. I ended up, I ended up building. Well, I'll tell you what happened initially was the keyboard player. His name's Bob Peters. Incredible, he had perfect pitch. He would hear a
Wow.
cow moo in the pasture, and he would say that cow modulated from a B flat to a something, and a train go by. He would tell you what notes were in the train whistle and all that. But he
Wow.
built. Do you know a Hammond B3 organ? When you play it, they've got a Leslie speaker that goes with it, and it's a twirling speaker that when it twirls, it's like a wah 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 effect. It's
Right.
like the Doppler effect of a train going on. Anyway, it
Mm.
adds to the sound of the organ, and
Mm.
they're very expensive. So he made himself one out of a record turntable, like goes 45, 33 and a third, 78
Mhm.
RPM. So it
Mhm.
turns faster, slower, and a bicycle cable, a brake cable, so he could adjust those from a distance. He could adjust it with the cable remotely what speed it's going.
Mhm.
Wow.
And he put a Tupperware container upside down on it with a stadium horn going through it. And
Wow.
he had a speaker going into the top of the Tupperware container. So the sound of his organs going in the top of the Tupperware container and coming out of the stadium horn. And so when it twirls, it makes that sound. And it sounded better than any Leslie speaker I heard. I
Mm.
I talked to him a couple of weeks ago, and he said he kept that and he sold it to somebody for a
Mm.
sizable amount of money. It was so goofy looking,
Wow.
and he balanced it with chewing gum
Oh
because it was
wow.
a little out of balance. So when I saw that, I thought, I could build wacky stuff. His was wacky stuff that actually did something.
Wow.
It
Okay.
had a purpose, but I could build wacky stuff that was just stupid. And so
Because that's become a big part of your show.
yeah, people have come to know me as the props guy, but it started with the first thing I built was a box that had noises in it. I got a siren, like from Cars,
Right.
a car battery in it, and I had horn honks and sirens and
Wow.
auga machines and a cow moo thing, and then on the top I put a toilet seat with a lid.
Oh.
I could push a button
Wow.
and the lid would open up, and two flags would come out, and a blast of gunpowder would shoot off. And I ended up taking the flags down, put a hand coming up and waving. But I went to a gun shop and just bought black powder. Can you do that now? I just went and got black powder, and I I took a toaster element, like from a toaster, an old toaster. It's nitro wire, and if you plug a plug into a socket and put power to one side and the other side, it turns
Wow.
red, glow, and it would blast the powder. So I put a little charge in there, and it would go foop at the end. This black powder would blow up. So
Wow.
we would sing. I'd sing, roll out the barrel, ahooga, we'll have a barrel.
Wow.
It would be like that, eh? And then at the end, the band would hold the chord, and then
Wow.
the lid would open up and it would go poop, and the
Wow.
audience would just like, what the heck was that? So
Wow.
we were playing one of our first gigs in Portage La Prairie, Manitoba, and we were across the street from the most popular bar in town. We were across the street from there, and it was Monday night, and I thought if we do a good job Monday, we can pack the place. So I thought, I'm going to put in a double charge of gunpowder, and it's going to be great. So then I pushed the button to release it, and nothing happened. And the whole band is holding the chord, the diminished chord. Nothing,
Wow.
nothing. And I thought,
Wow.
no,
You're great
no,
job.
Preston.
No.
So I went over and I looked inside, and it was, I'm telling you, it was Wile E. Coyote. It was
Wow. Okay. Continue on.
cartoon.
Yeah.
It was like a moment like that. I looked in, and I saw the wire turn red on one side of it, and I was fast enough noticing it, and I was fast enough that I was able to turn my head this far out of the way. That's all I could get out of the way, and it went in my face.
Oh
And
my gosh.
my glasses were covered with smoke, and the audience was just howling with laughter.
Wow.
And I left the stage and went right into the bathroom and splashed my face with cold water.
Wow. It just shocks me. We're about 4 minutes left in the video. I'm like, oh my god, this is gonna be shocking to death. Continue on.
Eyelashes were welded shut and hair was
Oh my
finished.
gosh.
But I
Wow.
didn't injure myself, thank goodness.
Wow.
But we packed the place from then on.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, because you're still using the hat, you're still doing the hats.
The toilet seat's gone.
Wow.
You've moved on to the next part.
But here's a hat. This is a hat that I built.
Okay.
It was an idea that I had. I knew that it's made with bicycle spokes,
Okay.
and I knew that if I drilled holes in here in the exact location, that it would do a certain move. Anyway, I'll tell you the poem that goes with it.
Okay.
Now, how I came to build this hat is very strange and funny. I'm always trying to find new ways to save myself some money. To stretch a buck, I find it helps to think outside the box. See, look, I found an easy way, then I can dry my socks.
Wow. Wow.
Oh, you can see, here's the inner workings that no one gets to see. Stop it, stop the motor.
Wow.
This is the motor. It's a screw gun pointing down into the hat as if it's tightening a loose screw in my head. This is the battery is on the back and the switch there. So when I turn the switch, it's a cam that's inside that does that motion.
Wow.
Oh man.
I should have warned people. They had no idea what was going to happen.
Yes,
How
exactly.
many hats do you have?
Hold on. What did you say?
People, they had no idea what was going to happen on this one. So how many hats do you have over the years?
Oh, I've never counted. Some of them I build and I try them out and they don't seem to get a reaction, so I park them. and then I'll find them years later and say, "Oh, this thing, I would try that," and then it works. And so yeah, I have no idea. I wouldn't count. And I build what I've done with some of them is I build a mold. I made a mold of my head exactly so that when I build the thing, it can fit right on my head, and I'm able to then put like a wig on it, so it looks like actually part of my skull. You know,
Right.
yeah. So I've gone to extremes.
Wow.
Well, and then when did you kind of move from the band to moving to doing, I know it's not just kids, but doing children's
Yeah.
entertainment and then family entertainment.
Well, I was doing when I was in the band. My agent said to me, "If you have a clown act, I can get you work on the weekends and during Christmas especially." So I said, "Well, how much does it pay?" And he said, "Pays $35 if you're solo, and $60 if you're a duo." And so I went home and told my wife, "Make yourself a clown costume. We're going to work." So
Wow.
took us clown shows
Wow.
for a long time, and that would be just on the weekends and at Christmas. So as well as doing the bar thing, I was doing that. And
Wow.
then I got to be careful. There's so many stories involved here, but and I learned on the go. There was one. I did a couple of shows solo, and one of them I was on my way to do the show, and I was pulled over by police and surrounded by police cars because apparently somebody in clown makeup just robbed a bank.
Oh my God.
So
Wow.
they assumed it was me, of course. So I was late getting to it.
Oh, hold on. Before I get the reactions on LJP's react, but before I continue on, let's say, I got a news report to talk about FWO, folks. There's a report on Kiss, okay? Paul Stanley slams Will Smith for attacking Chris Rock. If you watch this remix, I don't know what to say next, but Paul Stanley, I felt worried for you, buddy, but he's a founder of Kiss, you know? That's just me. But I'm a huge fan. I have been listening so much, most of the Kiss music, but their final tour is coming out, but just came out recently since 2019, but they're ending and was coming out in 2023, which is next year. But you know what? It's gonna end soon. But you know what, Kiss, I'm gonna miss you with their 50-year career. But you know, just want to continue on. I just want to continue on with this in a few moments, but I'm praying for Paul Stanley on this difficult time, but you know what? I will talk about an FWO episode number 362. So, yeah, watch this remix for you, buddy. Continue on.
The show, and I got there and I had my banjo, and
Wow.
I started singing songs and doing some magic acts and stuff, and the woman that hired me there said, no, that's not how you entertain kids. Step aside. She made me go aside and sit down, like almost in the corner, like you're a bad boy sitting. Here's a sad clown sitting at the side.
Wow.
She got her guitar and starts singing songs with her guitar, and all the kids knew her and knew the songs, and they're all singing along. Yay! Finally!
Yay! Hooray!
What
Anyway.
the heck?
Hold on one sec.
Hey, all the kids, finally entertainment. It was like, what the heck?
Hold on one sec.
Finally entertainment. It was like, what?
Right.
And songs, and they're all singing along. Yay! Finally entertainment. It was like, what the heck?
Okay, that's fine.
So I had to.
So did you adapt your show over the years during that time?
Yeah, well, I kept adding stuff, and when it didn't work, it didn't work, and then I incorporated stuff that I was doing in the bar band as well. Like it's everything. Like when the band, I kept changing personnel, and the band was family friendly as well at that in those days. Like we were just doing The band, we would sing in the middle of summer. We'd sing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer in the bar.
Wow. Which, by the way, Chris has already been passed, which I'm taping this from. Continue on.
Right.
And we did a spoof of Sesame Street skits.
Wow, okay.
Almost not a spoof. Sesame Street is so awesome that it was like a tribute to Sesame Street. We just sang the songs. The guitar player, Fred Penner, was Cookie Monster, and I was Grover Monster, and it just. So what we were doing was family friendly, and our agent ended up getting us work in the summertime at festivals and fairs, country fairs, where it's all families. And at the end of that summer, I just didn't want to go back in a bar again.
Wow.
So the band broke up, and I ended up solo.
And haven't looked back.
No, not till that.
No, wait, behind you. Continue on.
Not till you warned me. What's happening?
Wow.
So then you started recording your own albums, and you famous for winning a Juno.
Yeah.
When did that come together?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, it started when my wife and three sons and my wife and I have three boys. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. And we went camping, and one of my sons was 3 years old, and he was collecting rocks like kids do. And but we went for a bike ride and came upon a brand new, freshly laid gravel road, all like gravel for miles. He just went out of his mind. He got off the bike and was filling his pockets with the rocks, and he was smart, so he tucked his pants into his socks and filled his pants with rocks. And then I hoisted him onto the bike with great effort, and we went back and I showed my wife what he did. It was so funny. And then I just sat at a table and wrote the lyrics to a song that became I Collect Rocks. And that's one of my popular songs. And at the same time, the boys were collecting feathers. Anytime they'd see a feather, they'd bring it to me. I'd stick it in my hat or my shirt or my buttonholes, and that became a song called Counting Feathers. And we were paddling a canoe around the lake, and it was so hard going. And the waves were getting so high, and the wind was so strong, we weren't even moving. And I was actually frightened. So
hold on one sec, folks. Let me post on Facebook. Hang on.
Anytime they'd see a feather, they'd bring it to me.
I wasn't paying attention.
Into his socks and filled his pants with rocks.
Okay. Paul Stanley. Stay tuned this Friday for a lot to say on what's been going on coming on FWL episode 362 this Friday. Later tonight. New episode of Friday. It's a brand new episode. Four brand new episodes of the PCBM React, and later a brand new episode of stories. So stay tuned for more details on that. Yeah, I'll continue on as soon as I can. Stand by, folks. It's because I want to post something on Facebook, blah, blah. And other things on social media. But I'll finish up my reaction as soon as I can. Stand by. Anyway. But, you know. Then I got one more. Hang on one moment. Stand by. Okay. Okay. I'll upload something as soon as I can. Let me just check. One moment. I'm not gonna post something at 25 as of now. So. Oh god. Okay, what else we got? Let me pause real quick. I'll be right back. Back, folks. Sorry. Hold on one more moment, okay? Did I already do this real quick? No, I did not. Hang on one moment. Okay, now I'm back. Sorry for the delay, folks. I just came back from posting some things on social media real quick. And then now we're back in action to do LJPCBM reacts again. And I just wanted to post some social media posts again. So I figured let's just go ahead and continue where we left off on this reaction video. Since I wanted to do this and just move on. Let's continue on where we left off, shall we? So we got continue in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
And then I hoisted him onto the bike with great effort. And we went back and I showed my wife what he did. It was so funny. And then I just sat at a table and wrote the lyrics to a song that became I Collect Rocks.
Okay.
And that's one of my popular songs. And at the same time, the boys were collecting feathers. Anytime they'd see a feather, they'd bring it to me. I'd stick it in my hat or my shirt or my buttonholes, and that became a song called "Counting Feathers." And we were paddling a canoe around the lake, and it was so hard going. And the waves were getting so high, and the wind was so strong. We weren't even moving, and I was actually frightened. So I just started singing songs and making up words, and I said. It's like we're paddling the canoe down a river of glue. That's what it felt like. And I thought, hey, that's clever. So that ended up, I thought, where would that happen? And I thought it's going to happen at a crazy camp. So something's fishy at Camp Wiginishi is where all that happened. Pitch your tent in the wet cement. Yeah. Do the breaststroke in the egg yolk. So it just, all of us, these songs just appeared. It's like a miracle.
Isn't that funny how that comes about? And I think you saw with Barney.
Wow.
the movement, the music, the kids really react to that, and obviously you're doing that as well, and you're doing it with the
Well,
props, and you're doing it with all those things.
wow.
Well, what I did when uh, I ended up getting a lot of solo work for kids, and my wife and I were doing she was uh, with me on stage too. We were doing
Wow.
a tour of schools and festivals in the Yukon territories
Wow.
here, and I uh, I had bought every Raffi record that I could and listened.
Which I've not seen. I've seen one Raffi concert. Let me check Raffi and see. Still alive with us. He's a Canadian singer and spiritist. Okay, he's from Egypt. Now I see him at concert I got on VHS. I never seen the rest of Raffi's own copies. Because at the time, yes, he's a children's music and literature person. He was a vocalist, guitarist, ukulele. I see him in the A's concert. I never see him in the late Raffi stuff. When I was a huge fan of children's music, at that time he did a live concert called Raffi and Concert on VHS, which I got on VHS. I'm not sure what year that was at the time, but it was on VHS. But it has Baby Beluga at the time, but let me check what year was this. Raffi and VHS, hang on. Raffi and Concert. I got a VHS, by the way. So this is not 2022. Hang on. Oh, it blocked it immediately. Hold on. Connection was lost. Are you kidding me? Hold on. Hold on. Let me search up YouTube one more time and see if Raffi and Concert was still there. Okay, you gotta be kidding me. It just blocked immediately. Raffi and Concert. Okay, that one. Okay, this one I see. A young children's concert with Raffi. Okay, that one I first saw. Okay. Okay, that one, I'm like, okay, this is a great concert. I wanted to mute this due to copyright reasons, but the only ones I saw, I'm not sure what year that was, but this is from 1984. That was basically it. I got that on VHS. Oh, and recently, next guest from Purple Rose, love my actual fan. He was to follow me on Instagram. Watches Tony from Out of the Box. For you, I have not seen you in forever. I've watched your program on Disney Plus all 3 seasons, except for the band episodes. But I've never seen the band episodes. But I did miss you, by the way, Tony, from the Out of the Box series. If you watch this episode right now, but I mean you're next in the Purple Rose podcast. If you watch this episode right now, of LJPCBM, But I really wish you the best to do this on Friday's Purple Rose podcast. But in the future, I will, let's say, episode number, let me check one episode on my list right now. Episode number, probably 843, you're up next. You'll be on my list for LJPCBM for Purple Rose podcast. If you wish I would be reacting to Purple Rose podcast, which I did reacting to, I'll say 5, with the exception of this near close to 100. I'm near close to 100 episodes of Purple Rose, per se. But he did like my comment, stating that, this, okay? My childhood, miss talking to you, Tony, and if you watch this, Tony, you did give it a chance, made me feel like I have to get another second chance. And listen to children's music, which I'm a huge heavy metal, classic rock fan, Now, that was just me. Now, before, just a few moments to continue on, I really want to say, Alice Simmons, if you watch this episode right now of LJPCBM, I really wish you the best of luck in this and right now, this is 1970s, okay? This is his 54-year career, in August. But of this year coming up, But I really wish him the best of luck doing his touring and everything, but of his chosen performing, but that's just me. But anyway, I'm not really at 201 yet. I'm at 76 at the moment. But I'm getting close to reaching up the goal of 77 up until 101 but I'll get going until 100 episodes of Purple Roads. Then I'll do Donald Love's podcast, which is coming up which is a friend of mine named Bobman. If you watch Bobman, something like that, I can't pronounce your name, sorry. It's for you, but I'll do reactions to Donald Love's podcast in the future. But let's say episode 838. But anyway, continue on.
To try and get songs that I could sing for the kids. Because the songs I had, they didn't work. I had funny songs and the teachers would laugh, but the kids didn't get it. So I listened to Raffi and I said to Barb, I'm looking for a Raffi song. I can't find it. I want a song where the kids do actions and yell stuff at me. I've got, that's the song I want. And she just casually said, like she does, well, then I guess you better write one. So by the time we got to the next show, I had written a song called Something in My Shoe. And it's basically, it builds as you go. So like, as I was going for a walk, I got no further than half a block. Something in my shoe, ooh. And I take it off and shake it. And what is it? It's a little wee stone. And then I get the audience to go like this, and then it's a bouncing ball, boing boing, a flying bird, tweet tweet, a locomotive, toot toot, and I had other stuff in there. I had a dozen eggs.
Wow.
But
okay.
I sang that song at a children's festival.
Okay.
And Raffi was in my audience.
Oh, wow.
And he said, that sounds like my song. I want to record your song. So he recorded the song that I wrote that I wished Raffi had. And Raffi recorded this. It's like, what? So he recorded my song.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. And it's all action-based, like you say. Yeah, it's all, and that's, yeah.
Well, it's incredible. I toured for 15 years with Barney, and to see those reactions to those, the green grass grows all around, we would do all those things, and to see an audience doing them all, the raindrops and all of that stuff. So I know, isn't it an amazing experience when you get an audience to jump into what you're doing?
Yeah, and especially for you, you had a passive view of what's going on, and would you, I'm sure with handlers around you, you were allowed to receive hugs, were you?
Yes.
Mostly leg hugs or, anyway.
Well, they would just grab onto the big belly as much as they could, but a lot of times it was leg hugs, because, Bernie is very big, very tall.
Wow, it is, yeah. At the time, yes, Carrie, if you watch this episode of LJPCBM right now, it was a lot of fun, when it comes to receive hugs. I wish I could receive hugs to some of my people, And if you watch this, Dalton and Mike and Kaylee, I wanted to talk about this in the future when I visit you. That's just me. Continue on.
That's very cool. What a good feeling that is, isn't it?
It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. I always say, how much I got back from the kids. You go into it wanting to entertain, and the kids give you, like your story about the kid going around and honking the horn.
Yeah.
It's precious. They don't even realize the gift that they're giving back.
Yeah,
well,
Carrie.
they say laughter is the best medicine, and for me, I can go on to a stage and not feel great, and come off stage and I feel great. The hearing the laughter builds me up, and I get so much energy from an audience. I just love entertaining, and I love performing for kids. I perform for the kid and everybody. So
yes, exactly.
But anyway, it's just, I feel so blessed to get to do what I love to do for a living.
You know, it's so interesting you say that because obviously a lot of adults came to our shows as well. And at first they come to it really for their kid, and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm going to a Barney show and this and that. And then they end up having so much fun. You know,
Yeah.
when you see the adults
Wow.
like Mr. Knickerbocker and all that stuff,
Wow.
you know, it's so much fun, and it's got to be the same for you. They probably think they're going to a kid's entertainer, a children's entertainer, and then they end up having a blast with all of the things that you do.
Yeah, it's true. They don't, you have to be they say you can't be hypnotized if you don't
Yeah,
want to be. Do
Carrie.
you know what I mean? So you have to be a willing participant. But
Oh, well, we're at the 32-minute mark. Getting close to being 33 minute mark, and we're 25 minutes left of the episode. You know, just to clear things up. I'm not gonna interrupt Al, but let's see how long this episode takes. Hang on. Let me see. 58 minus 33. Yeah, I'm right. It was 25, but yeah, we are nearly an hour of this episode, and we're so far getting close to do this, and that's 40 more minutes left of the episode. Okay, let's continue on we left off, shall we? See what we got.
it's a quality show like you guys would put on. The adults, they're gonna get involved. They're gonna love it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and you know, the kids, you know, as we become adults, we lose all that. You know, as a kid, you're free and you can have fun and laugh and all of that. And then it seems like as you become adult, you know, now you have to act a certain way and you can't enjoy those things. But those are the lessons we learn from kids.
Yeah.
That's a fact. If you ask a 4-year-old, can you dance? Can you sing? Can you paint? Can you color? Can you anything? The answer is yes. I can, absolutely. But you know, when they get to be older, like a teenager, can you dance? No, I'm no good at that. Can you paint? No, my friend, she's really good at it. You know, can you sing? No, but my mom sings. She's really good.
Wow.
It's like, why? You know, when COVID hit, this is something. When COVID hit, I made little short videos on how to make music out of musical instruments out of just stuff you find around the house. And one of my reasons was you don't have to, like people say to me, Al Simmons, how many musical instruments do you play? And I say, well, all of them.
Wow.
It's play. Like if I'm going to play an instrument, you play. I play. My favorites are harmonica, banjo, guitar, trumpet, or bugle, or something. But I'll play anything because that's the idea. Is play. You play it. If you want to become proficient and become Yo-Yo Ma or somebody, then you got to practice for hours and hours and hours. And it's like juggling. If you're going to juggle or accounting, whatever, you got to learn your craft. But when it comes to music, we should just play, and you're not born with it. So I started these things, and I show people how to make musical instruments out of everyday things. And part of the thing was to just show them that you don't have to go and buy an instrument.
Okay.
And it won't sound as good, but you can make music. This is just obviously a tin can, two paint stir sticks, and I put a banjo string on here. But it could you could use a weed eater wire, or a line, or even a rubber band. And then when you pluck it and you squish this, it makes the note higher. So let's see. Yeah,
wow.
It's cool, eh?
Wow.
2 paint stir sticks. And here's another one. And this thing, I made 22 videos, and it's called Sounds Crazy. And they're all on my YouTube channel. They'll be there forever.
Which I'll have to react to soon. Continue on.
There's a booklet you can print out with instructions how to make them too.
I love it. I love it.
Wow.
It's all free. Play music. This one is just a plastic container with a hole cut in the top and a balloon stretched over the top, and it's got a hose that goes. This is a fairly stiff hose because it's going in and it's pressing against the top of it, and then this one you blow through, so the air gets inside here, and the air can't get out until it flutters past the balloon. So it's like a reed instrument.
Wow.
And it sounds just like a saxophone. Exactly. Beautiful.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Wow.
That was jazz.
Wow.
It was jazz, yeah.
So where do you come up with the ideas for that?
Well,
Creating those instruments, because that's just fabulous.
well, that one, a friend of mine said he was in Bali, which is on the other side of the world, in Bali, and there was young kids using a film container with a balloon stretched over it. It's my friend Tomasz Kubinek, a very funny vaudevillian character. And anyway, he said, "Oh, my friend Al Simmons, nowadays there's no film containers around. No one knows what film is, so
Right.
just any plastic
Wow.
container." But yeah, they all come from different places. This one, I just knew there was a way to make a twanger, and it's really good for sound effects for recording it, like cartoon.
Wow.
Really cool.
Well, I'm really interested. Where does this all come for you? That you're kind of fearless with all of this. That you're always trying and coming up with new ideas. You really don't seem to let anything get in your way. And it seems like when we become adults, the creativity gets pushed down. And for you, it seems like it's just flourished.
Well, yeah, part of me is I hate to throw anything away, and if I see something, I always look at it from how can I use this? And invariably I'll say, well, it's useless and throw it away. And then the next day I think, I know what I
Wow.
could have done. So, consequently, I'm a bit of a pack rat. I'm a bit of a pack rat.
Wow.
So, but I just, it, I learned it along the way, I guess. Mom and Dad were frugal, and I remember when I met my wife and met her parents, and I went to her parents' house for supper for the first meal with them, and they weren't poor by any means, but the cooking pot that my mother-in-law was cooking Kartoffelknödel in, a German dish, had an axe handle for a handle. The handle broke off, and my father-in-law just fashioned a handle from a broken axe on
Wow.
the pot. I was thinking, man, these are my kind of people.
Wow.
Like, why throw away a pot with a and an axe with the handle broken? Combine them. They're fixed, and we still have it. It still works.
Wow.
I love it. I love it. So it seems like you go in different directions from musical instruments and hats and props, and are you always looking for a different direction to go or looking for the next way to entertain an audience?
Yeah, my latest project is I've written a goofy tall tale about the gold rush in the Yukon. I've been up there so many times, and I just love the culture and Robert Service poems, and just the whole idea of the gold rush and how people went up there over the Chilkoot Pass and carrying an entire year's supply of provisions with them, like a ton of stuff. They have to make several trips, and then they get on the other side of the mountain. They have to build a raft to float downstream through rapids to get to where the gold is. By the time they got there, it was all gone.
Wow.
So it's just an incredible. So anyway, I wrote this tall tale story, and it's a poem, and I've recited it at my shows, and now I'm going to turn it into a book, an illustrated book. I've got an illustrator, and I've got, I've tried applying for a grant, and uh, we know you, Al Simmons, but have you ever written a poem and put out a book before? And I said no, and they said, okay, you go down under the emerging artist category. I'm an emerging artist. So we'll see whether the grant
I
comes.
love that.
I'm gonna do
Wow.
the poem. Yeah, yeah.
Well, isn't that interesting? All the
Yeah,
things you've done, and now you're an emerging artist.
Yeah, so that's a
Huh.
whole new direction for me. And if I put out a book, the book can be in people's homes. They can read the book, whether they've got COVID or not. It's COVID friendly, But the
Wow.
beginning of the poem, let me see if I can. It starts off with whistling. I first heard
Wow.
his whistle on the Chilkoot Trail. He was hauling 1 year's supply of provisions. He looked so forlorn and impossibly frail, but his bulging backpack drew my suspicions. No
Wow.
one found out from where he came. None of us ever got his name, but because of the contents of his pack, we called him Eggman behind his back.
Wow.
And then it goes on to tell what happens, and it's pretty crazy fun.
Wow.
Well, it's very obvious from listening to that and talking to you and seeing what you do that you're really a natural born storyteller, and that you do it whether it's through songs or however the different mediums.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something you've always been good at?
Yeah,
Telling the story.
my dad and mom were storytellers, and
Wow.
my dad would captivate us with stories of how he was walking home and it was dark, and there was a sheet in the wind just all on its own, and the sheet was going up and down, up and down. We
Wow.
were young, my sister and brother and I. We were sitting at his knee listening to, and we'd say, "Tell the up and down one," and the sheet's going up and down, all by itself. So I picked up a stick. I figure I'm going to throw it at the stick to make it go away. And he threw
Wow.
the stick at the sheet, and it went right through. And it turned out it's just a bunch of bugs hanging around a light.
Wow.
So many bugs that it looked like a sheet going up and down.
Yeah, for some reason I thought you said sheep. But okay, whatever. See you on.
He had us scared out of our wits. So
And
yeah,
so you,
stories, yeah.
yeah,
And
and you just picked up on that and continued it.
I guess so, without even knowing any difference. And my dad worked. He traveled and saw a lot of vaudeville acts in his day, and he knew their routines. So around the house, he's walking into cupboard doors, smashing his face like it acts like it's on purpose. It's didn't really. It's just a shtick.
Right.
And make one arm longer than the other, and making his thumb disappear. And I can't remember what else. All these crazy things we grew up as normal. Yeah.
And that's obviously inspired you because you're doing some vaudeville, obviously, in your shows.
He'd make a face and scare the wits out of us, like chase us around the house.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we went to one of my cousins got married. We went to the wedding, and the other family made an announcement at the stage. The other family is so funny. They're all so funny. I'm going to get one of them to come up and tell a joke. One of you come up and tell a joke. Which one is going to tell a joke? And I was sitting with my cousin, and I said, that's funny. I never thought of that. We're not joke tellers.
Wow.
We're all storytellers. And we enhance the story, Like my cousin Janet can just tell a story of how she caught the bus downtown and what she saw on the bus, and she'd have us in stitches.
Wow.
And my aunt Georgie, I could play a game of Go Fish with her and laugh harder than I ever would at any comedian that was on TV.
Wow.
Well, it's interesting that you can get. I'm trying to think how to say this, but that you can get these reactions from the audiences with the simplest, right? These simple hats and props and stories, and you know, it was one of my favorite things about Barney is that Barney could go out and entertain,
Mm-hmm.
and there was music and a few lights, and that was it. We didn't need a massive stage production to
Yeah,
entertain, and you're doing that as well with a simpler show,
Wow.
but still bringing out these huge laughs and this wonderful entertainment.
yeah. You know, there's something to be said. Like my stuff that I build is all primitive. There's nothing high tech. There's no, you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's not remote controlled or anything. And you know, there's Barney. It's
Wow.
a stuffy, basically a large animated stuffy on stage dancing, and it's simple. And the kids can come home
Mm.
and take their Barney or their stuffy and put on a show. Like it, do you know what I mean?
I do.
It
Mhm.
seems
Yeah.
for me the stuff that gets the biggest laugh for me is when I say something that the audience
Mm.
is going to think of 5 seconds later. Do you know what I mean?
I do.
Yeah, I
just
do.
State the obvious. Like nothing. Don't go too far fetched. Yeah, yeah. I hate analyzing humor because it's hard to figure that out, to do how or why anyone laughs. It's just a bonus. Well, I got gangly legs and floppy feet, and it seems
Wow.
to work in my favor. So
Well, and you know, I talk about it a lot on this show. The authenticity. I think the authenticity of the performer with the audience, especially with kids. Kids can tell.
Wow.
You know, they can tell, and you're with them. You know,
yeah,
you're with them. You're just having fun, and they can tell that.
yeah. Well, I absolutely am. And you know
Wow.
what?
You got me laughing the whole time.
And we're about 10 minutes away from this video. Continue on.
You know, I was just thinking now, you've got me really analyzing this because when I was young, my dad,
Wow.
Sunday was a play day. He was off, he
Oh.
was home, and he would fool around with us, you know, making a snowman outside or making a fort out of the kitchen, the living room couch cushions and blankets and tables and all of that stuff. And
Wow.
I realize now the hats he had. I don't know if this will work. It's got to be a soft hat. Anyway, tuck the corner, like I'm tucking the corner of the hat in.
Right.
Wow, you
Dad would
collect
do
hats.
this with us, and we would be, we would be pirates. Although it looks like I got a chicken on my head, but
Wow.
same difference. Hey, are you a pirate or have you got a chicken on your head?
Jeez.
You never know. You have to ask, right?
Well, it's such an important lesson you're teaching that it's okay to have fun and to laugh. And I think we get so serious sometimes. And especially there's a point where we lose it from being a kid where we can have so much fun to all of a sudden we're so
Well,
worried about everything.
imagine me. Well, not only me, but this is all about me, though, isn't it?
Wow.
Right this moment it is.
It is. Just I have my 1 hour of me time. But
Yes.
when COVID hit, and I had the busiest year of my career booked, and when it all fell apart, I must admit I was devastated. Like I
Wow.
couldn't find too much humor there because doing the shows is one thing, but organizing an entire year of how am I going to get from here to there to travel and all of that stuff, and
Mhm.
that for that to all go down the drain, that was brutal. But then it just dawned on me, well, what can I do now? Like I'm not just going to sit around. It was my brother-in-law that said to me
Mhm.
quite crudely, "What are you going to do? Just sit around?" In some more crude language, but he was true. It's true. What are you going to do now that you got nothing? You just sit around? No,
No.
just get back, do something, do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's it going to be like for you to get back on stage?
Oh, I'm telling you, it's just going to be wonderful. That show with in front of a bunch of cars at a drive-in, that was fun, but nowhere near what it's going to be like in a theater or at festivals once they start up again. there's a bunch of festivals that they're planning 2022. They're
Yeah, which is this year actually. Continue on.
thinking that, but we don't know, do we? This might not end.
Yeah, we don't know, but you're starting to see it here too. People are being safe about it, but you are starting to see it.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So whatever, no matter what, I'm just gonna keep going. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Where do you get all this energy from?
Well, from the audience, like I said, if like you've inspired me, just hearing you laughing and talking to you, just has me inspired to go and build stuff, and and then also kids. My granddaughters teach me the latest TikTok dances, and I try and do them on stage. Fail miserably.
Wow, very amazing. Watch this, Al. It's for you, buddy. Continue on.
But it's comedy.
Wow.
So, yeah, why not give it just try it.
Wow.
So, do you have something you want to do next? So the books, obviously, you're going to work on that. Is there something after that you've wanted to do?
Yeah, well, that's one thing, and I've got more songs that I've written that I'd like to record. But the problem is nobody's buying CDs anymore. No one's buying music. And
by the way, it's now in the. Well, I'm gonna search Al Simmons and see what they're up to now on Apple Music. So I'm gonna look it up now and see Al Simmons. I'm gonna search it up. Still there, okay. The artist's name is still there. Good. But it has about 3 albums. Good. Someone's fishy at the camp. I never heard of that. It has about 16 songs, and I never heard of these songs. But they're great. But they're like 4 minutes of these songs, and they're children's music. But anywho, Al Simmons did a great job, and the next one I'm gonna do is Celebrity Stalks at Midnight. That's like, oh my god, it's 2000. Okay, and the last one is the truck I bought from Mo, 2006. Okay, and I never heard of some of these Al Simmons albums. Some I never heard of until 2013, the year I just graduated from high school. That the Something's Fishy Around Here was. Yeah, I'll check Al Simmons one more time. So, most of the time, they're streaming apps, That's just me. Continue on.
each one of my CDs cost $30,000.
Wow, that's a lot of money. It's on Apple Music if you want to check it out, so there you go. Continue on.
Studio and recording costs and all of that, arrangers, music arrangers. I just can't be sinking that amount of money into recording if no one's buying. I don't understand where the wisdom is, but what am I to do? I made a mistake and I wrote a bunch of songs. What am I supposed to do?
Meanwhile, there was an app called Amazon. You can save money on their streaming apps like Bandcamp. If you watch this remix, Bandcamp. There's also some streaming services. Try that for a good cause. Al, and you can save money again. Continue on.
I gotta stop writing songs. I don't know.
Well, it's what they're doing now. It seems like you're really just writing them for your live performances.
Yeah, and I do them, and it's fun to do that. But when I'll go tour and I'll do a 1-hour show, and I've got so much material. At the most, I can put in one new song because people are wanting the standards, the regular ones. I sing a song where the letters on an eye chart, a sing-along eye chart, the letters turn into words when you sing them. So the letters on the chart say G, I, Y, Q, S, I, 2, and when you sing it, they turn into words. So you say G, I, Y, Q, S, I, 2, S, I, 2, U, R, A, Q, T, S, Y, I, Y, Q.
You know, I have to get a chance at reacting to this soon on LJPCBM. Let's continue on.
I love that.
Yeah, it's fun. So that one I have to do every show, and
Wow.
when I tour where I'm known, the audience can sing it all by themselves.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
Wow.
Well, Al, it's been such a pleasure having you on. Is it possible to get you to sing another song before we finish up?
Well, yeah, I'll show you one more hat,
I love
Wow. Okay.
and then I'll play a harmonica while you say goodbye.
that. Perfect.
Wow.
Now, I was telling you I made a fiberglass mold of my head, so this is the exact shape of my head. So
Okay.
it fits on nice and snug. It's amazing, right?
Wow.
And I've made ones like this that I cover with a wig, and when I put it on, you can't tell that it's a hard shell. So when there's something bolted to the top, it looks like it's bolted to my head. But this one I specifically made so that it looks all metallic. And I
Okay.
have to adjust
Wow.
this so that it's going to work here. There,
Wow.
You got to get the whole effect. Now,
Wow.
I'm just so excited to be entertaining. I'm telling you, this is fun for me.
Wow.
Now, I've been building crazy hats for almost 50 years. I never
Wow.
thought I'd have to face the worst of all my fears. Under every hat, I always look completely like a goof. I figured it's time that I built one that was fireproof.
Oh my God! Wicked Witch of the West style difference, ladies and gentlemen. Continue on.
Does it look like flames?
It does.
Yeah, shot down some flames, base DC. Continue on.
Mello, you want a roast?
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
We're alerting the neighbors. We better shut it off.
I
Wow.
love it.
Oh, another one too. Here, this
Yes.
is a broken bicycle pump that
Right.
actually costs quite a bit of money. It's a
Wow.
high quality bicycle pump that I can't remember how to open.
Hold on. Before I end this episode, let me tell Jeff something. No, I have not. No. Okay. Continue on, folks. I'm been disturbed by Jeff's the Dead Channel's things, whatever. Excuse my language, but I'm not gonna say it. But on the episode, about to be at stupidity. Continue on.
Gee, oh, it twists there. It's a high quality. I won't show you the brand name because it's too
Okay.
bad.
Wow.
It's I turned it into a pop gun instead of a bicycle pump.
Wow. Whoa!
Why? Don't throw anything away. One more.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, this has been so much fun. So you got a harmonica? You
Yeah.
played some on the way out?
What a delight to talk to you. Thank you so much. You're so much
Pleasure
fun.
talking to you.
Yeah.
Such
And
a pleasure.
Barney would be COVID friendly basically because
Wow.
you are between many layers of fabric. You know what I
Yes.
mean? When you think of
Yes.
it, that's an ideal situation for COVID friendly performances and hugs and everything. It's all legal.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, cheers and
Well.
thank you so much.
Well,
Wow.
thank you so much.
Wow.
As Al plays us out, remember to keep your eyes, ears, and your heart open,
Wow.
and you'll find your purple road. We'll see you next week.
So that was Purple Road's episode number 76. Hold on, I think it was hilarious to watch. So far, this show's performer Al Simmons If you watch this episode right now of LJPCBM, it was amazing. So far this episode went to be a success. Anyways guys, that was episode LJPCBM, episode number 812. Hope you enjoy it. Stay tuned for the next one. It's gonna be Purple Roads, episode number 77. The next one react to, let me check what the next one is. Hold on. Yeah, hold on. It's gonna be about Chris. I'm not gonna say the Rager. Okay, that's one. I'm not sure he was in that time frame, but he was it was Mr. Satan, Dragon Ball Z. Okay. But if you watch this remix, don't forget, Mr. 9,000 million. Now, excuse me, I got a message from Jeff. He keeps asking me if I watch out for him, blah blah, and I'm just gonna know what's gonna be going on and just things like that. Till next time, it's Joseph by Peace Out, baby. We'll get more LJPCBM guys pursue. Till we're interested out. See ya.
Given unto me this life I'll never take for granted, and given all the time I failed to really understand it, I never sought to meet the maker of reality, the one who gave the life that which is always happening, but I tried all the time. I ask, why me? Why was I the one to see things as I do under the moonlight and the sun? Perception is the question, and the giver holds the key.